everybody, how are you doing? So I'm going to do something unusual today. It's funny, I actually turned to the Song of Solomon when I was doing my reading today, but I didn't want to talk about Song of Solomon. I thought, I kind of laughed and I was like, well, that's somebody's diary entry. That's the way I think of it. And it's probably an inappropriate entry. But anyway, I'll still talk about romantic issues today. Okay? And I actually came across something about intermarriages, okay? With so certain themes are coming up, so relationships are coming up. So this is about relationships, okay? I'm in the book of Esther, and I'm in Esther chapter 1, okay? So, okay, now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This was Ahasuerus who reigned from India to Ethiopia over 127 provinces. So in these provinces, the people don't all speak the same languages, okay? So anyway, let's see. In those days when King Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the citadel, that in the 3rd year of his reign he made a feast for all of his officials and servants, the powers of Persia and Media, the nobles, the princes of the provinces being before him. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the splendor of his excellent majesty for many days, 180 days in all. And when these days were completed, the king made a feast less than 7 days for all of the people who are present in Shushan the citadel, from great to small, in the court of the garden of the king's palace. So I'm not sure if he is a certain, he was not really being a show off, but he was showing his glorious majesty, okay? So in verse 6, there were white and blue linen curtains fastened with cords of fine linen and purple on silver rods and marble pillars, and the couches were of gold and silver on a mosaic pavement of alabaster, turquoise and white and black marble. So really and truly it's probably glorious and beautiful, and they're showing us all the detail with the words, okay? So in verse 7, and they served drinks in golden vessels, each vessel being different from the other, with royal wine in abundance, according to the generosity of the king. In accordance with the law, the drinking was not compulsory. Thank goodness, okay? For so the king had ordered all the officers of his household that they should do according to each man's pleasure. And excuse my nails, sorry. Okay, so, okay. Queen Vashti also made a feast for the women in the royal palace, which belonged to King Ahasuerus. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine. So I kind of joked earlier, like I'm not gonna joke about it, but so when people get married with wine, they're probably dancing, they're probably joking, they're in their energy, and they may not be as inhibited. So I have no idea what type of energy, because it depends on his personality, okay? So anyway, so now he's married with wine, so now he may not be doing things according to his normal schedule. So, okay, so not only not according to his normal schedule, he may not be in his normal energy. So normally he could be cool, calm, and collected, and then all of a sudden he was married with wine in front of his friends. And so a different side of the king may be showing up at this point, okay? So this video is more so about human complexities, romantic relationships, emotions, and that type of thing, okay? But we are using the Bible to understand what's going on here, okay? So on the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, Bagtha, Zethar, and Carcass, 7 eunuchs who served in the presence of King Ahasuerus, to bring Queen Vashti before the king, wearing her royal crown, in order to show her beauty to the people and to the officials, for she was beautiful to behold. Okay, now here's the kicker here. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command. So I'm going to go through like maybe different reasons why. So it's like, honey, can you please come and appear before me? And so her response is, no, I cannot. So, but I don't know her language. How does she express her love and or disdain to her husband? How does he express his love and or disdain to his wife? Because I don't think this is, okay, but Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command. So it's like, come here, honey, but she just didn't come? Or come here, honey, and what do you take me for? I don't know how she expressed this. Was this an argument? Was this just a coincidence that she didn't come? Was it one of those things, like one of those days where girls just can't be bothered? Or where I don't really know. Okay, so we kind of need to know this to kind of understand what's going on between the two. But I think it's deeper than, honey, can you please come here? But she didn't come. I think it's deeper than that. Okay, I'm going to tell you why as I continue to read. Okay, so let me repeat now. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command, brought by his eunuchs. Therefore, the king was furious and his anger burned within him. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? I think it's very much deeper. Number one, we have a drunk. It's not really drunk. He's married with wine. So he is less inhibited because he's been drinking wine, okay? He's less inhibited, number one. Number two, he's with his friends. Number three, he's in boastful mode, showing off his lovely kingdom to everybody. So I think the lesson here so far is, I guess we have to be mindful what state our men are in and the way that we approach them, okay? So if we want to have a happy man, to the ladies, if you want to have a happy man, we know he's around his friends, he cares about his friends, plus he's less inhibited because he was drinking. It's kind of like, be careful how you respond to them because you don't know what type of drama it may cause. That's on one hand. On the other hand, what type of relationship does Queen Vashti and her husband Ahasuerus, what type of relationship do they have? Because listen here, so she refused to come, brought by his eunuchs. Therefore, the king was furious. So what is the king's normal personality? Is he normally calm and now under the influence of wine? Now he loses his temper more easily? Because it says, and his anger burned within him. Now listen to this part. His anger burned within him. He's furious, but it didn't say he responded outwardly, okay? We don't see any response at all outwardly. So he may be a calm, introverted man, okay? And so we don't know, again, if Queen Vashti just didn't come or if she sent words to infuriate him. We don't know which way that went either, okay? So let's see. In verse 13, then the king said to the wise men who understood the times. So this gets really deep, guys, okay? In verse 13, who understood the times. So the times that we're in at this moment is the king is showing off his wealth, his luxury, his beauty, of his wife. He's showing off everything. He's putting his whole heart, his whole life before the kingdom to show off. And so he feels like his wife is making him look foolish, and that's why he's upset, number one. Okay? So I think that is the time. So the wise men who understood the times. Number two, what came to my mind when I heard this? It might depend on the king's personality, because depending on his personality, he could possibly be a person who has high blood pressure. He could be the type of person who loses his temper and does something, inappropriate. So we don't know the circumstances here. So I'm trying to understand by like looking into it, but I don't know for definite, okay? So I'm going to keep reading to figure out more. For this was the king's manner toward all who knew law and justice, okay? So say again, then the king said to the wise men who understood the times. So the king knows law and justice, okay? And so he says, if I say come, but you don't come, you just violated my requirement of you. Therefore, there's some type of justice that's coming your way that may probably feel like a punishment, okay? That's why I'm reading into the situation, okay? Trying to use my best understanding. Okay, so in verse 14 it says, those closest to him being Karshena, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marcina, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, who had access to the king's presence and who ranked highest in the kingdom. So it seems like we're dealing with a king who is high-ranking. He has all of these high-ranking officials, princes around him. He's showing off his utmost glory. He has a certain type of temper or mannerism. Everybody respects him. So this is like the wrong day to not want to appear before your king if you're the lady in question here. Okay, so in verse 15, what shall we do to Queen Vashti according to law? Now, it must be kind of strange because it's not as if this is the first time she has run across her king. So I really don't know what type of contentious relationship they may have that the kingdom did not know of. Is this the first occurrence, or is this something that happens all the time? Because apparently the officials, the wise men, know the king's manner. The queen must have known his manner. So something deep had to have been going on in that situation, in that relationship. Okay? So what shall we do to Queen Vashti according to law, because she did not obey the command of King Ahasuerus? brought to her by the eunuchs. Okay, so now some plan is being put into place here. A lot of times, if you've been living in modern day, you know when plans are being put into place, you're probably not going to like the outcome if you're on the wrong side of the plan, okay? So let's see, verse 16. And Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Queen Vashti has not only wronged the king, but also all the princes and all the people who are in the provinces of King Ahasuerus. So it is not one of those days where the girl just, or where the woman just wants to like I'm in a certain mood and I need my space. She could be a quiet person and not like to socialize. I don't know what's going on in her mind. Or this is her personality to cause contention. I don't know which one, okay? So let me see. So now she's being accused of not only wronging the king, but also the princes and all the people in the provinces of King Ahasuerus. So now she all of a sudden violated everybody, okay? Let's see how this story goes, okay? Verse 17, for the queen's behavior will become known to all women so that they will despise their husbands in their eyes. When they report, King Ahasuerus commanded Queen Vashti to be brought in before him, but she did not come, okay? This very day, the noble ladies of Persia and Media will say to all the king's officials that they have heard of the behavior of the queen. Thus, there will be excessive contempt and wrath, okay? So listen to that. So I feel like this is a situation that's happened before in the king and queen's marriage, okay? I don't think it's a new occurrence, okay? I also think because the king drank wine, he's not him himself and his officials, the princes, maybe none of them are thinking clearly, so I don't know if this is a normal occurrence for them to have this plan put in action based on such maybe, I'm not sure if it's a major offense or a minor offense, okay? Are they taking this very, very seriously, or are they right? If the king is showing off all of his beauty and wealth, maybe perhaps he's right to be upset if his beautiful wife didn't appear before the people, okay? So let me see. Now, verse 19, if it pleases the king, let a royal decree go out from him, and let it be recorded in the laws of the Persians and the Medes, so that it will not be altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal position to another who is better than she. Oh my. I'm bowing my head. Oh my. I see, oh wow. Does this go way over my head? Okay, so because these men are under the influence of wine, because this is an official event, because everybody is watching, all of a sudden minor incidences can become major. And I'm sorry I'm hiding my nails because I felt the need to do this video and I didn't do my nails first. I apologize, okay? So anyway, so let's see. So let me see. So this is very, very serious. As I stated, she's queen. And because of one incident, all of a sudden, now everything is being turned upside down, basically, in the king's household. Let me read more, okay? Verse 20. When the king's decree, which he will make, is proclaimed throughout all of his empire, for it is great, all wives will honor their husbands, both great and small. So this is why I know that this is a major issue, because this is not the first occurrence in their marriage where there has been perceived disrespect, okay? So listen, he said, all wives will honor their husbands, both great and small, okay? Because the king is feeling either despised, he's feeling disgraced, okay? And so he's trying to make this decree to make sure that he gets the respect that he desires. But I think it's something deep within his relationship. There's some hidden things that were going on that nobody else knew. Verse 21, and the reply pleased the king and the princes. Now, who said that now? Because this was, this is, what is his name? Memucan, I think, answered before the king. So this was Memucan. So maybe he's aware of what was going on in the king's household. I'm not really sure, okay? And let me check really quickly. These are the wise men, okay? Memucan is a wise man. So he understands what's going on in the king's household. So he's standing up for honor for the husbands, okay? And so the husband just agreed. So we don't know what the husband thinks. That was what the wise man thought, that husbands need to be respected by their wives, okay? So he didn't want the women to get the wrong idea. So let me see. And the reply pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Memucan. Then he sent letters to all the king's provinces, to each province in his own script, and to every people in their own language, that each man should be master in his own house. and speak in the language of his own people. Okay? So I'm not going to continue to read, I don't think. I'm going to keep explaining this, okay? Because this message here, so Memucan sent letters to all the king's provinces in each language, okay? Because there were 127 provinces, so I don't know how many languages were in that that kingdom, okay? But it says that each man should be master in his own house. This is a debate in between who wears the pants in the house. Does a man wear the pants or does a woman wear the pants? Shall you disgrace me before my people, yea or nay? Okay? And there's something else. And speak in the language of his own people. So I have a feeling that this king may not have been speaking in his native language in his home. And I'm not sure if it's because the queen asked him not to. I'm not really sure. But so either that or that's what the wise man is perceiving needs to change in the kingdom. Okay, one of the two. So based on what I was reading here, I'm not even going to go through about Esther as she became queen. I'm going to talk to you about what I see in this marriage here because I like to understand people. And so this is the Bible, and so we're kind of trying to understand the dynamics of relationships back in this time and or in this situation, okay? I feel like I mentioned to you several things. Let me look at my notes and see if there's anything else that I need to mention to you. Because there's an issue here because it almost seems like I'm not sure if the queen despised the king in some way, shape, or form, if they had different personality types. Okay, so for some reason I was thinking about love situations because as I stated, I opened to the Song of Solomon and I didn't choose to read it because I kind of know what it's about and I think it's kind of not for me to read on the Sabbath day, okay? But so the book of Esther here, I'm just trying to understand what is going on in this situation here, okay? So did Vashti despise her husband? Is that why she did not come? We don't really know the answer. But in order for us to have healthy, happy relationships, what do we learn from the story so we don't repeat past mistakes and mess up certain situations in our life currently, okay? Let me see what else. In Proverbs, it says, better to live in the corner of a rooftop than to live with a bickering woman. So I don't know the personality of Queen Vashti, whether or not she was the type of, loving, kind woman who never disrespects her husband, or she's the type of woman who bickers a lot, okay? Because this is King Ahasuerus, but Proverbs was written about the household of David, King Solomon, that type of thing, okay? So, I just wonder, was Queen Vashti the type of fussy, bickering woman that Proverbs warns us about? And is that why it was so easy to remove her from the kingdom based on her action? Now, it could be something very simple. What if Queen Vashti was in customary impurity and that's why she could not come? I'm not sure what is going on, because if it were that simple, it's sad that she might have mistakenly disgraced her king and lost her position, if that was what was the issue, okay? So like I said, I'm trying to understand. Some of these issues in between husbands and wives are things that we cannot control, and some of them are things that we can control, okay? So I guess the lesson learned so far is women, I guess, try to respect your husband so they don't feel disdained. Number two, I'm not sure what else number two is. Men, if you are drunk with wine or even married with wine and you're hanging out with your boys, I'm not sure, because it could be that the woman felt like if she came around the men that she would be, she didn't want to be looked at like a piece of meat. And this is the way we see it in modern times. I don't know if that's the way they saw it in the olden times, because